The secret to a happy relationship is not love. It's not chemistry, butterflies, or late night talks. Those things are beautiful, but they fade. What truly sustains a relationship, what makes it powerful, is discipline, truth, and shared responsibility. You want happiness in love? Then stop chasing feelings and start building foundations. Love isn't a vacation, it's a mission. And that mission demands two people who are willing to face reality together, not escape it. A strong relationship begins the moment both individuals take responsibility for their emotions, for their words, for their actions. When you blame, you lose power. When you take responsibility, you build it. The happiest relationships are made of two people who say, "I'll fix my part before pointing at yours." Because the truth is, most relationships don't fail from lack of love. They fail from lack of courage. The courage to speak when silence feels safer. The courage to stay when growth feels painful. The courage to evolve when comfort whispers stay the same. You want a happy relationship? Then learn to fight right. Don't run from conflict, run from disrespect. Conflict reveals truth. Avoidance breeds resentment. Every time you stay silent about something that matters, you trade short-term peace for long-term distance. And that's how relationships die. Not in explosions, but in quiet withdrawals. Speak truth, even if your voice shakes. Because truth, though it hurts, cleanses. Lies, though they soothe, poison. And when two people start telling the truth, they stop pretending. When the masks drop, connection begins. Not the shallow kind that depends on appearance or validation, but the deep kind that comes from being seen and accepted for who you truly are. But understand this, truth without empathy destroys. Empathy without truth weakens. The balance between both is what builds unshakable love. Now, let's talk about growth. A happy relationship is not about finding someone who completes you, it's about finding someone who expands you. The goal isn't to merge into one, it's to stand side by side, facing life stronger than before. When you grow, the relationship grows. When you stagnate, the relationship suffocates. You don't own your partner, they're not your emotional property. They are your ally, your mirror, your challenge. The purpose of love isn't to make life easier, it's to make you more capable of living it. Every great relationship demands work. Work on yourself, work on communication, work on understanding. Because the moment you stop working, entropy takes over, chaos creeps in, and connection fades. Respect is the oxygen of love. Without it, the relationship chokes. You cannot love someone you look down on. You cannot feel loved by someone who disrespects you. Respect means you honor your partner's individuality, their time, their opinions, their journey. Respect is not agreement. It's acknowledgement of value. And that's the paradox of love. The more you respect your partner's independence, the stronger your bond becomes. The more you try to control, the weaker it gets. Possession kills passion, freedom fuels it. You want long-term happiness in love? Then stop trying to win. Stop trying to be right. Start trying to understand. Start trying to build. A happy relationship is not two perfect people finding each other. It's two imperfect people refusing to quit. It's not about never fighting. It's about fighting for the same side. And let me tell you this, real love is not found in the highs, it's proven in the lows. It's not when everything feels easy, it's when everything feels hard and you still choose each other. There will be days you question everything, days you want to walk away, days where silence feels safer than truth. But those are the days that define your relationship, because happiness isn't born in the moments of joy, it's earned through the moments of struggle. The secret is commitment with awareness. Not blind loyalty, not toxic attachment, but a conscious decision. I will grow beside you. I will not run when things get uncomfortable. I will face the truth even if it hurts. That's the kind of love that endures. That's the kind of relationship that doesn't just survive, it transforms. And if you want to build that kind of relationship, you must first build yourself. Because you cannot pour love from an empty cup. You cannot expect respect if you don't live with self-respect. You cannot demand honesty when you fear it within yourself. The happiest relationships are not built on finding the right person. They're built on becoming the right person. So work on your mind, strengthen your character, stand by your principles, speak truth with kindness, love deeply but never lose yourself in the process. That right there is the secret of a happy relationship. Two people, two warriors, choosing truth over comfort, growth over stagnation, respect over control, and love not as a feeling, but as a daily act of courage. Love will never save you from yourself, only responsibility will. You can drown in romance, but you rise through responsibility. Because before you can handle the weight of another person's heart, you must first learn to carry your own. Most people chase romance like it's the answer to their emptiness. They crave connection without understanding that connection without responsibility is chaos. They want love to fill the cracks that discipline was meant to repair. They want passion to mask what purpose should heal. But here's the truth. Until you master responsibility, every relationship will expose the parts of you that refuse to grow. Responsibility before romance means you stop asking, who will love me, and start asking, am I someone capable of being loved deeply and rightly? That's the real shift, because love isn't built on luck. It's built on accountability. The moment you stop treating relationships like emotional vacations and start seeing them as partnerships of growth, everything changes. You want a happy, lasting relationship? Then stop romanticizing weakness. Stop celebrating dependency. The person who takes responsibility for their emotions, their reactions, and their growth becomes magnetic, not because they need love, but because they create it. Responsibility means you stop blaming others for how you feel. It means you stop making your partner the caretaker of your wounds. Love isn't therapy, it's teamwork, and the strongest teams are made of people who handle their side of the field before demanding perfection from the other. When you take responsibility, you bring stability. You stop being a storm that needs calming and start being the calm inside the storm. You become someone whose presence doesn't drain energy, it builds it. You stop saying you complete me and start saying I've completed my half, let's build together. Responsibility before romance also means managing your standards. Too many people expect loyalty without offering consistency. They expect understanding without offering communication. They want love without earning trust. But relationships don't work on wishes, they work on discipline. Love grows where both people are responsible enough to honor what they promised when it's hardest to keep. Think about it. When someone says they love you but refuse to grow, that's not love. That's comfort. When someone demands attention but won't give respect, that's not connection, that's control. When someone says, I'll change, but never takes responsibility, that's not hope, that's delay. Responsibility brings structure to emotion. It takes the chaos of desire and turns it into direction. Without it, romance burns bright and dies fast. With it, love becomes steady, powerful, and deeply real. And this is where most people fail. They enter relationships seeking rescue, not reflection. They want to be saved from loneliness instead of facing it. But loneliness is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It shows you what you haven't built within yourself. Because until you're responsible for your own peace, you'll always rely on someone else to provide it. Responsibility before romance means you heal before you love. You face your flaws before you demand perfection. You learn to communicate before you demand understanding. You become disciplined before you expect devotion. If you want a strong relationship, be the person who brings order, not emotional chaos. Be the one who calms, not the one who constantly needs calming. Because the truth is, attraction may start a relationship, but responsibility sustains it. Responsibility teaches patience. It teaches empathy. It teaches you how to listen when you want to win and how to forgive when you want revenge. Responsibility forces you to see that your partner isn't here to make you happy. They're here to grow with you. And growth isn't comfortable. It's full of friction, challenge, and moments that test your ego. But every time you choose responsibility over reaction, you become more capable of love. Every time you take ownership instead of playing victim, you earn respect. Every time you face yourself, you stop fearing love's depth. The happiest couples aren't the ones who never argue. They're the ones who argue responsibly, who fight fair, who take ownership, who turn conflict into connection. They understand that responsibility is not about control, it's about contribution. It's about saying, I'll do my part even when you don't do yours, because I hold myself to a standard higher than emotion. Before romance comes responsibility. Because love isn't found in feelings, it's forged in actions. It's not about how loud you say I love you, but how consistently you show up. Responsibility is what turns promises into proof. So if you want something that lasts, stop searching for the right person and start becoming the right person. Be responsible enough to build your peace, your discipline, your purpose. Then, when love arrives, you won't cling to it out of fear, you'll share it out of strength. That's what makes a relationship powerful. Not how often you say you love each other, but how deeply you live out the responsibility that love demands. Lies is nothing but quiet decay. You can sit in silence, call it harmony, and still be dying inside. Truth shatters comfort, but it's the only thing that rebuilds trust. Choose truth over peace, because fake peace is the breeding ground of resentment. Most people would rather keep things calm than keep them honest. They hold back their truth to avoid conflict, and in doing so, they trade integrity for temporary comfort. But peace that demands silence is not peace, it's paralysis. Real peace isn't the absence of conflict, it's the presence of truth. When you choose truth over peace, you refuse to live a double life. One on the outside that smiles and one on the inside that screams. You stop pretending that everything's fine when it's clearly not. Because pretending might protect the moment, but it destroys the future. Truth is heavy. It doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It exposes your weakness, your mistakes, your insecurities. But it also clears the fog, reveals direction, and frees your soul. When you live by truth, you stop walking on emotional eggshells. You stop measuring your words by how much they'll please, and start speaking from a place of principle. Relationships, friendships, careers, all of them rot without truth. People think avoiding hard conversations keeps things smooth, but it doesn't. It just buries landmines under the surface. And eventually, those landmines explode. Sometimes in anger, sometimes in distance. Sometimes in silence so deep it feels like death. Truth is uncomfortable, yes, but that's what makes it sacred. Because when you tell the truth, you face yourself. You face what you've been avoiding. You face what's real. And only when you face what's real can you grow. There's a reason truth feels painful. It cuts through illusion. It forces you to confront the parts of your life that you've been cushioning with lies. But the pain of truth is temporary. The cost of dishonesty is permanent. When you choose peace over truth, you don't eliminate pain. You delay it. You bury it deep, until one day it grows into bitterness. And that bitterness seeps into everything, your tone, your patience, your ability to love. It changes you from within. Truth, on the other hand, liberates you. It might cause chaos at first, but it's a healing chaos. It clears the air. It restores clarity. It might end relationships built on illusion, but it strengthens those built on authenticity, because the people who can handle your truth are the ones capable of walking with you through life's storms. Choosing truth over peace is not cruelty, it's courage. It takes strength to look someone in the eye and say, this isn't working, or I'm hurt, or I need more. It takes integrity to admit, I was wrong. The weak hide behind comfort, the strong stand behind truth. Even in love, truth is the lifeline. A relationship that hides from hard truths will rot in unspoken words. But a relationship that faces the truth grows roots so deep that storms can't shake it. Truth builds trust, and trust builds peace, real peace, the kind that doesn't need pretending. And truth doesn't always sound gentle. Sometimes it sounds like a storm, sometimes it feels like betrayal, but it's not the truth that breaks you. It's the illusion you built before it. The moment the truth arrives, the illusion crumbles. And though that fall hurts, it's the first step toward freedom. People who fear truth often fear losing control. They think honesty will destroy what they've built. But what's the point of building something fragile enough to crumble under honesty? Truth doesn't destroy real things, it refines them. What can't survive truth was never meant to last. So when you have a choice between saying what's real or keeping things peaceful, remember this: silence will cost you more, because truth will shake the ground for a moment, but lies will sink you slowly until there's nothing left of who you are. Truth demands bravery, it demands maturity, it demands that you handle confrontation, not with rage, but with reason. Speaking truth isn't about attacking, it's about aligning. Aligning your words with your values, your actions with your integrity, your peace with your reality. Truth over peace means you hold yourself to a standard higher than comfort. It means you value authenticity more than approval. It means you'd rather be disliked for honesty than loved for pretending. And that's power, quiet, unshakable power. Because when you live in truth, you don't need validation. You don't need to defend yourself with masks or excuses. You walk freely. You sleep peacefully. You speak clearly. You stop negotiating your integrity just to keep others comfortable. So let the truth burn away the illusions. Let it break the false peace that's been numbing you, because peace that hides pain isn't peace, it's slow suffocation. Choose truth, even when it's heavy, even when it costs you people, positions, or comfort, because the peace that follows truth is deeper, cleaner, and more lasting than the peace built on pretending. And when you finally live by truth, not half-truths, not silence, not people-pleasing, you realize that real peace isn't something you fake to keep the world calm. It's something you earn when you finally stop lying to yourself. Love dies the moment it turns into ownership. You cannot grow what you're trying to control. You cannot nurture what you're trying to cage. The secret to lasting connection isn't possession, it's growth. When love becomes about freedom, not control, it evolves from dependency into power. Too many people enter relationships wanting to own someone, their time, their emotions, their loyalty, as if love were a contract of possession. But love was never meant to be owned, it was meant to be shared. The truth is, the more you try to hold someone too tightly, the faster they slip away. Growth, not possession. That's the principle that separates real love from fear disguised as affection, because love rooted in fear becomes control. You start monitoring instead of trusting, demanding instead of appreciating, clinging instead of connecting. You think you're protecting love, but you're actually suffocating it. Real love allows space, space to breathe, space to change, space to evolve. It understands that you can't grow beside someone if you're trying to keep them small just to feel secure. If your love demands that your partner shrink so you can feel safe, that's not love. That's insecurity dressed as devotion. You see, growth in love means you celebrate your partner's evolution, even when it challenges your comfort. It means you want to see them reach heights that even you can't control. It means you understand that their purpose isn't to orbit around you, it's to rise beside you. Possession is built on fear. If they grow, I'll lose them. Growth is built on strength. If they grow, we both rise. And that's the shift most people never make. They mistake closeness for control. They believe that the more they monitor, the safer they'll feel. But safety built on control is fragile. It depends on everything staying still. And life never stays still. People evolve, dreams change, desires deepen. The only thing that keeps love alive through that evolution is growth. Growth demands security from within. It demands emotional maturity, the ability to say, I love you, but I don't need to own you. It demands the strength to let your partner have their individuality, their ambition, their solitude, their voice. Because only when both people have the space to be whole can love be healthy. A relationship based on possession is like a flower gripped too tightly. You destroy what you're trying to keep. A relationship based on growth is like sunlight. It nourishes, it strengthens, it allows both to expand. When love becomes possessive, it stops inspiring, it starts imprisoning. You find yourself in constant fear, checking phones, doubting intentions, policing emotions, because control is a poor substitute for trust. But trust, real trust, comes from growth. It comes from knowing that your connection isn't maintained by force but by freedom. The most beautiful relationships are between two people who say, I don't need to own you to feel secure. I want to see you grow, even if your growth challenges me. I want to build something that expands both of us, because love that grows is love that breathes. It's alive, it's dynamic, it's not afraid of change, it embraces it. You don't fall out of love when you grow, you fall out of love when you stop growing. Growth in a relationship also means holding yourself accountable. You can't demand evolution from your partner while staying stagnant yourself. You must be willing to outgrow your old habits, your jealousy, your fears, your emotional laziness. You must evolve from reaction to reflection. It's easy to say you want a mature relationship. It's harder to become a mature person. Growth asks for humility. It asks you to admit that maybe you've been controlling because you were scared, that maybe you've been possessive because you feared being left behind. But love demands that you face those fears, not project them. Real strength in love is saying, go become everything you're meant to be. I'll grow too. Because two people evolving together don't drift apart. They deepen their bond through shared expansion. Possession tries to freeze the moment. Stay as you are. Growth says, let's see who we can become. And that's the difference between love that lasts and love that fades. The possessive love dies when life shifts. The growing love adapts, transforms, and becomes stronger through every season. Growth doesn't mean distance, it means depth. It means learning from conflict instead of resenting it. It means using pain as a teacher, not a weapon. It means both partners becoming emotionally intelligent enough to build something larger than ego, a shared purpose, a shared evolution. When love becomes about growth, it stops being about control and starts being about contribution. You stop asking, what can I take from this person? And start asking, what can I give that helps us both rise? That's how love transforms from a temporary feeling into a lifelong force. Because growth gives love a spine. It gives it direction. It ensures that even when the fire cools, the foundation remains. Possession, on the other hand, makes love fragile. It crumbles under pressure because it was never built on trust, only on fear. So if you want a relationship that endures, focus on becoming, not owning. Don't hold your partner hostage to who they were yesterday. Don't demand that they shrink to fit your comfort zone. Celebrate their evolution and commit to your own. Because real love isn't I need you, it's I choose you, and I'll keep choosing you as we both grow. That's what keeps relationships alive. Not chains, but choice. Not control, but growth. And if you ever forget this truth, remember, possession feels powerful, but it's rooted in fear. Growth feels uncomfortable, but it's rooted in freedom. Love can start a relationship, but only respect keeps it alive. Passion ignites connection, but respect sustains it through storms. Without respect, love is just emotion, loud, fleeting, and unstable. Respect is what gives love structure, direction, and endurance. It's not the spark, it's the fuel. You can adore someone and still destroy them if respect is missing, because love without respect turns into control, manipulation, and ego battles. It stops being a partnership and becomes a power struggle. Respect, however, keeps balance. It reminds you that love isn't ownership, it's stewardship. You don't own your partner, you honor them. Respect is quiet strength. It's not loud, not dramatic, it's consistent. It's in the tone you use when you disagree, the patience you show when they're struggling, the way you listen when it's inconvenient. Respect is how you say, I value who you are, not just what you give me. The truth is, you can't have a healthy relationship if you only love someone when it's easy. Because love can't thrive in an environment of disrespect. It suffocates. Every time you interrupt, belittle, or dismiss your partner, you chip away at the foundation. You may still have affection, but you'll lose admiration. And when admiration dies, attraction soon follows. Respect is what allows love to mature. It takes emotional impulse and shapes it into commitment. It teaches you restraint, empathy, and discipline. It reminds you that being right isn't more important than being kind, and that silence, when laced with contempt, is louder than any argument. People often confuse passion with strength, but passion without respect is just chaos. You can have intense chemistry, but without respect it burns out fast, because respect is what allows passion to return again and again, stronger, cleaner, deeper. Respect begins with how you see yourself. You cannot truly respect your partner if you live without self-respect, because when you lack it, you tolerate disrespect and call it love. You start lowering your standards in the name of understanding. But there is no understanding in a love that disrespects you. Respect doesn't mean silence, it means clarity. It means holding boundaries, not to punish, but to preserve dignity for both sides. Respect also demands accountability. You can't keep expecting someone to trust you if your words don't align with your actions. You can't demand faithfulness when your behavior breeds insecurity. Respect means you keep your promises even when no one's watching. You tell the truth even when it costs you. You stay consistent when it's inconvenient. When two people respect each other, they create emotional safety. Safety doesn't mean avoiding hard conversations. It means those conversations don't turn cruel. It means you can argue without humiliating each other, disagree without disconnecting, and apologize without pride. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, respect is rare because it's built slowly. You don't earn it with words, you prove it through habits. How you treat someone when you're angry reveals more about your respect than any romantic gesture. Anyone can love when it's easy. It takes strength to stay respectful when emotions run high. Respect is also the foundation of attraction. People think attraction fades with time. It doesn't. It fades when admiration disappears. You can't admire someone who doesn't honor you. You can't feel desire for someone who constantly disrespects you. But when respect is alive, attraction deepens, because there's nothing more magnetic than being seen and valued as an equal. And let's be honest, respect isn't tested in happy moments, it's tested in tension. It's easy to respect someone when everything's calm, but when stress hits, when frustration rises, when pride wants to win, that's when your true character shows. If you can hold respect through conflict, your relationship can survive anything. Without respect, even love becomes destructive. It turns into jealousy, control, emotional games. You start using affection as leverage instead of offering it as connection. You start measuring worth through attention instead of trust. But with respect, everything changes. Communication improves, intimacy deepens, and loyalty becomes effortless. Respect doesn't mean submission, it means equality. It means both people honor each other's individuality, their time, their dreams, their differences. It means you don't have to lose yourself to keep someone else, because respect says we are two complete people choosing to build together, not two broken halves clinging to survive. And here's the truth most people avoid. Respect is built in the small moments, the way you greet each other, the way you listen when tired, the way you handle disappointment. Every small act either feeds respect or drains it. Disrespect doesn't destroy a relationship overnight. It erodes it quietly until one day there's nothing left but resentment. Respect doesn't need grand declarations. It needs daily discipline. It's how you talk about your partner when they're not around. It's how you protect their dignity even in private. It's choosing honesty over manipulation, empathy over ego. That's the kind of respect that fuels lifelong love. Because love without respect is like a fire without air. It burns fast and dies. But love fueled by respect, it becomes unbreakable. It grows through pressure. It survives distance. It matures through time. So, if you want to keep love alive, stop asking, how do I make them love me more? Start asking, how do I make them respect me deeper? Because where there is respect, love follows naturally. Respect is the fuel that keeps love burning steady. It's the reason two people can walk through chaos and still choose each other, not out of need, but out of honor. And in the end, the most powerful kind of love isn't the one that shouts the loudest. It's the one that consistently says, I see you, I value you, and I will never forget what you're worth. Because passion may start the fire, but respect, that's what keeps it burning for life.